Hello, my name is Tristan Wood, and this is the Midterm Deliverable. Here we go. All right, so the first case is the Bitcoin case. Here we have a guy named John Brown, and he is the manager of a mutual fund. He's facing pressure from his clients to invest in this hot new commodity, Bitcoin. What we know about Bitcoin is that it's been making waves in the past, and it has been making huge profits. And John Brown's clients are asking him, well, why aren't you invested in this huge asset? We need to be making money off of this. So John Brown comes to us and he's saying, okay, well, what are the pros and cons? How should I do this? So we have to first analyze, well, what is Bitcoin doing? Is it volatile? Is it not volatile? And we know that it is very volatile. But we also know that it has an inverse relationship with the US economy's performance. So if Bitcoin is doing well, that means the US economy or other global economies aren't doing as well, and vice versa. If the economy is doing well, then there's no reason for investors to invest in Bitcoin because well, they could just rely on their government's currencies and the performance of their economies. So currently, what we know is that the economy is doing well. We avoided a major recession due to the Fed's leadership, and we're considered a soft landing in our economy, and we are now decreasing our inflation rates and our interest rates, and things are going well generally. But Wall Street tends to disagree. Wall Street thinks things aren't going well, and as such, Bitcoin has been growing in the past few weeks and months. So it would be pretty wise to actually invest in Bitcoin right now. We believe that John Brown should invest directly into Bitcoin, skip the ETFs, which only have, I think, a 6% return or a 6% weight in the ETF. So might as well just maximize the profits and invest directly into Bitcoin. For our second case, we have the Enron case. Now, the Enron case deals with a company called PNW. They are a energy company, specifically an electric energy company. And in the past few years, PNW has been noticing that the winters have been getting warmer and they've been losing out on a lot of profits. Their earnings per shares have been dropping, and as such, their stock have been dropping. They have not been performing well for the past few years, and they want to figure out how to turn this trend around. So they're approached by Enron. Enron is offering weather derivatives. And a weather derivative is where basically, well, you can say, hey, we'll put weather as the underlying asset and we'll call these heating degree days. So they're basically betting on whether or not the weather is going to be warm or hot. So PNW is offered swap options or uh, different types of call and put options. But for this case, we want them to have a swap option. That is going to be the verdict here. So they should take the swap option because the strike amount is going to be about 3,035 days. Now, over here on this graph, we can see that the average amount of heating degree days in the past 10 years have been 3,072. So already on average, the heating degree days is higher than the strike amount. And we're going to assume for this case, we're going to bet and assume, be bullish, that in fact, we will be able to pass the strike amount in heating degree days. So with this, we get a 32-day, 37-day difference, and we receive about $35,750 per extra heating degree day. So if we go above the 3,035 days, we get paid that amount. And if we just, let's say, go to 3,072 days at least, we get $1,000,000, $1,322,750 in profit. So, and that's at least if it hits the average. We don't even know. It might be a colder winter, so we might have more heating degree days, but it also might be a warmer winter. We might not even hit that strike amount. And yes, the strike amount for the swap option is much larger than the other options, but that's a risk we're willing to take. I mean, we're not hedging anything here. We're just saying, okay, it's going to be either a cold or warm winter, but we're willing to take the chance with PW or PNW that there will in fact be a cold winter this year. The last case, case number 3, is about Baker Adhesive. Now, some little backstories about Baker Adhesive is that they're a small company based in New Jersey. They have always had their business in companies in states near New Jersey, and they've never dealt with an international customer or client base. But recent trends in the adhesive market have been, well, that factories are moving out of the US and into foreign markets, into foreign countries. So naturally, Baker Adhesive is going to have to start dealing with these foreign companies. Now, one such company, Novo, a Brazilian toy company, approaches Baker and they say, hey, we want to buy some of your adhesive for our toys. So in the original order that Novo and Baker agree upon, there is 1,210 gallons of adhesive ordered. The deal went so well that Novo comes back and they say, hey, we want to again make a deal, but this time it's 50% larger than the original order. But Baker realizes, hey, there's a very large exchange rate risk going on here, and we might lose out on a lot of money. So we need to figure out how we're going to hedge this risk because the exchange rate's going to go down. We're going to lose money. So what I propose is that they do a money market hedge. So Baker deals with transaction exposure no matter what here. Um, so if they deal in the real by borrowing from Brazilian banks or anybody else in Brazil that's offering loans, then they can hedge exposure to the exchange rate risk. So what they do here is they borrow the amount that they are going to receive. So they're going to receive $163,000 from Baker or from Novo for this deal. And that's also going to be the amount they receive in a loan. So once they receive the payment from Novo, they're going to pay back their loan, but with interest. And here, interest is an expense that we're willing to take because we don't want to risk making a forward or futures contract with Novo because we could be making a fixed rate that's too high. And if the exchange rate ends up, not doing so well, then we're just paying an exorbitant amount for something. We're just going to be losing out in the deal big time. So once we pay back the interest rate owed to whoever we borrow it from here, we're going to convert on the spot market that exchange rate to get $67,000. Now, this is the best option again, because we don't want to have a fixed rate where that could be extremely risky with Novo. We could be losing out a lot of money. We want to just be safe, say, hey, we'll do a money market hedge instead. Thank you for listening. This is my presentation on the midterm deliverables.